Hello, Danse. This is Kendal Netmaker. I hope you're doing great today. You're probably wondering, Kendall, where have you been? It's been a long time since you posted online. I've been away. I've been busy putting my head down into a lot of different areas of focus in the past couple of years. And in the past couple of years, I had to do some reflecting. I had to do some deep work into where I really wanted to put my energy and focus for the future. And I want to welcome you to, I guess, my first episode back and sharing with you some of the insights that I've learned along the way. And I want to focus this show into sharing with you some of the things I've learned about personal development, branding, entrepreneurship, leadership, team building, public speaking, coaching, communication, and so much more. That's my goal. It's a way for me to give back to whoever needs to hear these messages. And I hope that if that's you here today and you find it valuable, I encourage you to go and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Could be a friend, family member, colleague. You can share this with them. I'm also going to have an audio recording as an audio podcast. I'll have that on my site very soon. And the goal is that I take everything I've learned from knowledge keepers to professional coaches, other speakers, and so on. My journey through business, and I want to package them in a way through stories, and I want to share them on this platform with you. So I want to give you a brief background on, I guess, for those of you who are maybe watching this for the first time, you don't know who I am. I'll give you a background on myself. Again, my name is Kendall Netmaker. I'm from Sweetgrass First Nation. That's my home community, and I focus a lot of my time right now on doing keynotes. I speak to different companies, nonprofits, our own First Nations communities throughout Canada, and I do a lot of virtual. Like right now, I'm in my virtual studio doing this episode with you, and my focus has been that in the last couple 2.5 years, but I've been speaking for almost 12 years now. Throughout that time, before I got into the speaking field, I was a university student, and I was trying to finish my B.Ed here in Saskatoon, trying to manage that, raising a young family. I now have 2 children, and, my wife's a teacher here in Saskatoon as well. So, busy family, lots on the go. And in the early stages, I tried to find a way to start a business as a full-time student, and I struggled with that. My first brand failed. Eventually, Nietzsche Gear became the one that I would start way back in 2011 as a full-time student. And I had to manage all the stuff of, being a new father, trying to learn how to be a husband, trying to learn how to be a coach, trying to learn how to start a business, and there's so much on the go that I just had a hard time focusing. So I want to share with you the first lesson that I want to give to you is the power of focus, the power of choosing something to focus on. A lot of people oftentimes they have a lot of projects on the go, and they have all these different side hustles or different things that they're working on, and they wonder why they can't get to where they want to get to in their life. Here's my advice to any of you who are struggling with that. Choose something. Choose one and put all of your energy into that thing. Choose that one thing that really it's a gravitational pull towards it the most. It's the strongest pull. Go and do that thing, whatever project idea that is, and go and put all of your invested energy into that thing. Because if your energy is split up into all these different things, which I really struggled with for a long time, you're only going to get a little bit of results from that. But if you choose something, you put all of your energy into it, your chances of it succeeding go way up. So I encourage you to do that. Back in Nietzsche Gear days, I had no choice but to do that because we found ourselves struggling to pay for rent, for Pampers and formula for our newborn son. And we found ourselves lining up for social assistance downtown Saskatoon. It was a very tough time for myself, my young family. And that was the trigger point for myself. And I remember going back to our apartment. We lived just off of 8th Street at that time. And I had to tell my wife, Rachel, I said, I have this business idea, Nietzsche Gear, and if you support me, I will do everything I can to try to make it successful. And I didn't have an answer to that. But my mental block was that I couldn't commit to this because I had so many things I was working on. And with her support, I was able to put all of my invested energy into this brand. For those of you who maybe have read the book Driven to Succeed, or maybe you've been at a previous speaking engagement, you'll know the story that, from that moment of that decision, we took it from that apartment to an office, to a kiosk, to multiple stores, to doing custom orders, wholesaling, doing e-commerce. And then people invited me to do speaking engagements at schools, at colleges, at nonprofit events, and then corporate events, provincially, nationally, internationally. And it grew into something. Now, the challenge becomes, how do we move forward when times get really tough, when there's a lot of change happening in our society, in our communities, in our organizations, even in our families? There's change is inevitable. Everyone's going to have to go through it in some form. The challenge is, how do we move forward through that in the best case scenario, the best possible way moving forward? My advice to you, for those of you who are struggling with that, having a hard time making decisions, having a hard time going through life, having a hard time moving forward in a good way, here's what I was taught. Anytime there's a challenge, anytime there's a problem, anytime there's an obstacle, there's always a hidden blessing embedded into that moment. But so few people make the effort to look for that. They get stuck on reaction mode. They react to everything that's happening around them. And they lose the message. They lose the meaning. They don't realize that sometimes the things that happen to us happen for us, so we can grow into the person we're meant to become. So it'll open a new door for us. Just because something doesn't work out for us doesn't mean that another door is not going to open for us. We have to hang in there. We have to move forward in a good way that allows us to grow mentally, allows us to strive for more. Another thing I was taught was that all of us were here on purpose. We have a purpose for our existence. You were born, you were chosen to be here. You have gifts that have been given to you. And when you align your gift with a chosen field, what tends to happen is you start to feel fulfillment through a role like that. Because when you give your gift to something, an act of service to helping this world become better, whether it's a career, a job, business, and so on, maybe you're a coach, a teacher, whatever that might be. When you give your gift to the world that way and you're helping people to become better, you feel better about yourself. Oftentimes when I'm working with different organizations, one of the things that we find is that sometimes there's people that are put into roles that are not aligned with their true gift, their true calling. And so they go through life, they go through these roles and they're very unhappy. They get miserable, some of them. So it becomes a dangerous mix. When you're a leader, when you're someone who has influence over a community, an organization, other people, your job as a leader is to look at aligning those people with certain roles. What is this person good at? And you try to find a way to put them in a role that solves a solution for the greater good of whatever you're trying to accomplish. So the past 2 years, it's been over 2 years since I did a live stream. And over these last 2 years, I've been doing a lot of reflecting on where I wanted to go and choosing a path on where I really wanted to focus. I did a lot of deep diving. I did a lot of meditation. I did a lot of inner work. And it's brought me to this moment where it was time to come back and to hopefully share these messages with you, whoever's watching this right now, whoever decides to share this with their friends, their communities, their coworkers, and so on. But you can also replay this as many times as you want. I got pulled to come back here, I guess you could say. Yeah, I sometimes there's certain things that happen in our lives that we get requested to do. Some of you that's on a personal front, some of you that's it could be a family related issue, it could be something in your job and so on. So I feel like I was pulled back to try to help as best as I can with the stories that I have, the scenarios, and try to create a space where I can create a platform to that's free for anyone to listen or to watch these episodes that will come in the future. And I would love to hear your feedback. Comment on these videos. Let me know what you like about them, what you want to hear in the future, and I will do my best to speak to that. If there's something you want to learn about, you want to hear more about, let us know. Send me an email, put it in the comments below, and I will do my best to try to answer that on future episodes. And another thing I want to share with you is that as this progresses, I want to look at interviewing other people as well. So that's a future possibility. If you want me to bring some people in, get them to tell their stories, that would be really cool as well. So let me know if that will be helpful to you. Put it in the chat below, and I will do my best to accommodate everyone's hopes that we make this as positive as possible, because we all need that positive encouragement. You know why? It's very difficult for us wherever we live to find that oftentimes at home. Oftentimes that's why a lot of people go on social media. They try to find something to relate to, something that will align with their own values, their beliefs, and so on. And sometimes there's a lot of negativity out there. So we can be conditioned to believe certain things that maybe are not so healthy. My goal with this is to keep it positive as possible, because that's what we need. And I hope that you listening to this, you get value from it. And regardless of how difficult times get with your own life, your career, that you move forward in a healthy way, to always move forward and to, as I was taught, to pray, to focus on what your strengths are, not what you're not good at, and to always work on yourself. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to go and ask for help if you don't know something. And to always be a knowledge seeker, always trying to find that knowledge that you strive for, to help you to become better, to help your family to become better, your communities, your workplaces, and so on. So I wish nothing for the best of you. Thank you for watching for my first episode here today. And there'll be many, many more to come in the future. Take care. We'll see you.
If you found this episode helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. To book Kendal to speak at a future event, please go to KendalNetmaker.com. Consider sharing the Kendal Netmaker Show with someone you feel needs to hear this message.